Hi everyone and welcome to Val Talks Pets, the forum for pet parents and enthusiasts alike. Having been in the pet industry for almost 10 years now, I am going to share with you issues and questions that arise as I work with pet parents on a day-to-day basis. I am not a veterinarian, but I do have certifications in canine, feline, small animal, fish and herptile, and avian health and nutrition from the University of California, Davis Extension. Hi everyone and welcome to this episode of Val Talks Pets. Well, as promised in my last episode on therapy, emotional support animals, and service dogs, I am very excited to welcome Stephanie Ridley to the show. Hey Stephanie, welcome and thank you for taking the time to talk to me about your son's service dog.
Thanks, Val. Thanks for having us, and thank you for letting me share our story.
Well, first of all, your service dog is your son's dog, and he's an Autism Response Dog. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and he's also from National Service Dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is an organization that I'm familiar with as well. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about your service dog. I believe his name is Beaumont.
Beaumont, very regal. He is our shining star. We have had Beaumont for just over a year. We received Beaumont October 2019. So time is flying by, and we got him just before his second birthday. So his birthday is November 11th, Remembrance Day. So we definitely can't forget that one.
No.
So it's definitely been a ride through getting Beaumont and then COVID starting a few months later, and navigating that first year much differently than we thought.
Oh, yeah. Gee, I didn't even realize that it was that, early for you, and you were right in the midst of all the turmoil and everything, plus your other turmoils. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So how old is your son now?
My son is 9.
Okay.
So the journey with Ewan started, he was diagnosed just before he was 2. And at that point, lots of milestones were being hit, those regular doctor's visits and the check. And then things just didn't start to feel right. And there was something niggling there. We have autism in our family, so it was at our attention probably earlier than somebody else's. So we were very fortunate to be diagnosed young and start treatment at a young age and get him the help he needed. Now, when Beaumont, or the thought of Beaumont, we didn't know he was Beaumont yet, came quite early to me, because Ewan always had an attraction to animals and always felt almost a sense of calm around animals, animal pictures, animal books, the zoo, obviously, and just a kid that struggled so much with finding new interests. Animals was always there. So it wasn't until a couple of years later that we'd actually made our application to National Service Dogs for a service dog for Ewan.
Oh, okay. So then
we did.
We
did wait.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
Val, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
We did wait. Obviously the need is very high for a service dog. But we were very committed in the beginning. And I think people in the autism world too don't always know what to do. They don't know where to start when you're trying to find the right fit for treatment and therapy that's going to fit your family. So people start that process not always thinking that they're really going to get a dog, or we'll just see how it goes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for us, it was always, we just saw it as a part of our life for Ewan as well.
So you made your application. I can see where you're going with this, because that makes so much sense that he was responding with animals, and that makes it sound like a really good leap towards thinking about a service dog. And Beaumont is a golden retriever yellow lab cross. And so you made your application to National Service Dogs. So then how long did it take before you were able to find out that you were going to be placed?
It was almost 4 years from
my gosh.
Yeah, that's where the need is big and strong. You know, the need for autism service dogs is probably stronger than it's ever been before.
Oh,
Um, so we did wait a long time. Now, in saying that, Beaumont came into our lives at the perfect time,
oh,
because I think with you and being so young, and we were so gung ho at a young age,
mm-hmm.
um, that actually Ewan was really ready for Beaumont when he came. I don't think if Beaumont or whoever came to Ewan's side earlier, maybe the connection and the journey would have been different for
Mm-hmm.
us. So it was the right time, a right fit, the right dog. Everything seemed to align for us right from the very beginning.
That's amazing. So then, so what happens? So for people that don't know the process, when you find out that you're going to be accepted in to receive a service dog, what happens then?
Well, you do a happy dance like you won the lottery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it all happened quite quickly. We knew that we had committed ourselves to go to Cambridge for a week and do all the training and really be there with Beaumont for that full 8 days, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out. And when we found out, like, we had an action plan already in place, ready to go. Everything was waiting. We were
Mm-hmm.
just waiting for the shotgun to go off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it did happen quite quickly. And when Bo, there's a thing about always trying to manage autism in a
Mm-hmm.
way that makes life easier for everyone, including Ewan.
Mm-hmm.
But our expectations for Bo were that it was going to take some time for them to form a relationship. This isn't like on Christmas Day, somebody getting a puppy and everyone falling in love. This is a different type of relationship, one that needs a lot of work, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of commitment. And really just support from a larger circle of family and friends to make it all work.
Right.
Did we think Bo was going to enter the house and it was going to be Ewan cuddling him and
Mm.
stuff? No, we knew it wasn't going to be like that. But in saying that, we were just blown away at the connection that was made so quickly. We couldn't have predicted it.
Really. So this really was the perfect fit, as you were saying. And you were very pragmatic about the whole thing, realizing that, it's not going to be the magic wand that it's going to take some time and the commitment. So yeah, and so obviously your result was more than you expected.
For sure. And Ewan is a unique case where obviously his autism and his spectrum of what his autism looks like, it is not typical relationship building and all the smiles and those emotional cues that you see from other kids his age.
Mm-hmm.
So him being content and him being happy looks very different from Davy down the road playing with his dog. Beaumont gives Ewan an opportunity to really engage with the world around him and release him from that kind of isolation
Mm-hmm.
that often autism families feel, which is you can't always go out in public easily without a plan. You
Right.
can't just change last minute from here to there. And Beaumont really is that guidance for Ewan, where the world is so unpredictable for Ewan and changing all the time, that Beaumont, it really is that constant that he can look to.
That's amazing. So when you brought, so you went to the facility for 8 days, working with Bo and also the support of NSD there to help you to get used to your dog and what you're doing, and then you come home. So then what happens?
Then we come home and it was like, it's like the movie Dumbo, where the stork comes and drops off the baby elephant, like baby Dumbo.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody, it's like having a new baby. We were like elated.
Mm-hmm.
And in that elation, though, came a huge sense of responsibility to maintain the training and, be committed to always working at this relationship. Because really it is, even though Beaumont is Ewan's dog, he's very much a part of our family.
Of course.
So it's these really hard lines that you're always navigating between somebody else looking at us going, oh, that's not a typical dog family relationship. And sometimes people might think, oh, but look at him. He's so look cute. At him. He doesn't want to be working. Look at him. And I'm like, overcoming those things. So really, when we got Beaumont home and started getting into the community with him, it was straight away. And you just learn every situation as you go, and we're still learning.
Yeah. And it is quite a learning curve, really, isn't it? I mean, to expect something overnight, like even in 1 year, you've got a lot of ground to cover still.
For sure. And especially with the obstacles and barriers that COVID has presented, it's really made us have to adapt and shift again differently than we thought our first year would look like. When we got Beaumont, my immediate thing was to try and get Beau into the school with Ewan. In some sort of capacity. So that started pretty much on day 3 of Beaumont actually coming home. Now, the Ministry of Education had mandated last year that all school boards had to have a yes for service animals in the classroom.
Yeah.
So even with that mandate, we still knew it was going to be a challenge. But we got Beau into the school, I think it was March the 7th. And then on March 13th, the schools shut for the rest of the year.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
And for Ewan particularly, a kid that thrives on routine and structure and, all of that, we fell off a cliff that day.
Oh man.
And it was very hard to recoup. But what Beaumont added to that was something I'd never thought, who thought we were going to be in a pandemic, not me. But what Beaumont offered was he built our routine.
Oh.
He was a part of rebuilding, which meant, okay, it's 10:30. It's, that's time for Beaumont's walk. And it's 4:00. We're going out again, or whatever it may be. And that really helped us build our schedule and really rebuild our life at that time. Because it was so difficult for Ewan, losing the people that he works with every day, just so suddenly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that, when we first started talking about that. Yeah. Now, because you had such a short time in the schools, though, when schools do go back at some point. Now, do you have people in the school, or have you had someone from NSD? What do they do to help with a dog in the classroom and for the other students to get used to a dog in the classroom? And, what happens during the day when Beau needs to go out and your son's in class? What happens with that?
There's so many factors, right, that you have to consider. And our path and our journey was never to just have Ewan and Beau in the classroom for 8 hours a day and just drop them off in the morning and see you at 4 and hope you do well. Because Ewan is unable to be the handler of Beau. Okay. There does have to be one of his EAs as a trained handler. Oh. Now, we hadn't got to that point because what we had decided was that I was just going to make everybody feel comfortable in the classroom by introducing Beau, not being a distraction, but the whole class getting little snippets of Beau, for everybody to feel comfortable and it be a normalized situation. And seeing that kids are the best because they just ask the questions that nobody wants to ask, or they really want to know, why does Ewan have a service dog? And that's a question that, we get a lot. And it's hard to explain because a guide dog for somebody that's blind or deaf almost has like an immediate, you understand why the dog's there. Yeah. With autism, it's a little harder to understand, and it's not so like visible.
Right.
And that's where the kids are just so much more understanding than the general public.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our goal was just to start slowly
Mm-hmm.
and calculated, and with the help of NSD,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully in the fall we'll have a different situation,
Yeah.
and they are 100% behind us to support us in any way that we need, and in saying that they will support Ewan's handler
Mm-hmm.
at school.
Excellent. Now, is he tethered to Bo?
So sometimes he's tethered, sometimes he's not.
Okay.
It really just kind of depends on the situation. A lot of times when we're like in a mall or shopping, grocery store, something like that, he's definitely tethered to him.
So can you explain what that is when you have an autism response dog, and what that means when they're tethered and what they do?
Yeah. So Bo has one handle that hangs on the right side, and that's kind of just a very casual handle. But a tether, Ewan's actually there's a handle that, or a leash that almost goes around Ewan's stomach and comes out the front. And then that's attached to Bo. And there's a pull on it that, gives some elasticity. So you're not, being pulled and
like a little bungee
left.
Type thing. So it
Yeah,
has
a
some
little
give.
bungee. Yeah, to give a little bit of give there, because, Bo's not a robot. Otherwise we'd have robot service dogs,
Yeah.
So, there's always, and Beaumont has a lot of personality as well. So there's always good to have a little bungee there.
And the purpose of the tethering?
It's also for Ewan to feel that closeness.
Okay.
Sometimes when not Beaumont is distracted, when Ewan is distracted. And that's a lot of problems that we'd have, maybe grocery shopping or something, Ewan would just start to wander. And that kind of just that being tethered to Bo. Oh, that's right, I got to be near Bo, and that little gentle reminder instead of me nagging and constant reminders.
Now, someone else in our area that has a service dog who is a friend of yours as well, her son is tethered to their service dog because he's a bit of a flight risk, or he was at the time, and their service dog works by locking down to prevent him from running or taking off. Is that something that you're dealing with at all?
We have never had that issue with Ewan.
Awesome.
And that's where autism presents itself in so many different ways. Where we have had a great situation with Beaumont in his training is that we were at Challenger soccer one afternoon, and Ewan was having a bit of a hard time, and NSD has trained Beaumont for an over command.
Oh, what's that?
Which just basically gives Ewan pressure, a deep pressure. So Beaumont will lie on top of Ewan, and then you can shift Beaumont to kind of whatever position that's comfortable for Ewan. It might be on his legs, it might be on his feet, it might be on his stomach. And Beaumont will just kind of go with wherever you place him, but his over command will give that pressure. And we were at that soccer, and normally at that point we would have had to have left without Bo. But in that moment, we were able to do that, and kind of it pulled Ewan out of his meltdown very quickly. And that's really like people were watching going, oh,
wow,
there it is. That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
So they have different uses for different people on the spectrum,
Absolutely. So when you're at home, how do things work then with Bo? Is he working at when you're at home sometimes, or he's just not working, or what happens there?
That's where COVID is definitely presented with us with some challenges. And we definitely do one walk a day where we have Bo in jacket.
Okay.
And that's just good practice for everybody, and it's good practice for Ewan because he has a sense of responsibility as well for Bo. And he feels good about having a little job there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one other thing that Beau does for Ewan is really put him in the best state for learning, and really to engage Ewan in his learning. And that's all been online recently and at home and all of this, right?
Yep.
Is just to have that comfort and that security of Beaumont being there.
Mm-hmm.
Ewan does require a lot of sensory input,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Beau can also, like, not just petting, but Ewan will almost like go against his fur,
Mm-hmm.
like the way his fur grows, and
Mm-hmm.
just like with his hands, and that's a calming motion. And yes, you could say you could do that with other dogs, but Beau is trained to stay and and take that for as long as he wants, or squish his feet underneath his tummy, and he'll just stay and be there for Ewan, or do a visit command and put that deep pressure on a visit just on his leg while she's sitting there learning, to just to feel that calmness and openness to the world around him. Let him engage in the world around him.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were saying that he does one walk in jacket, so that means that he's out, he's working. And then it sounds like you're saying then you take him out and he's just a dog on a walk. Is that right?
Yeah, and then we'll have our play in our backyard or whatnot. We are working at, actually, Beaumont, previous to COVID, was going into all of Ewan's speech sessions. Beaumont comes to our OT sessions. Our occupational therapy is open at the moment, so Beaumont is a part of all of those sessions in person. And then we will hopefully in the next kind of 6 weeks get Beau back into Ewan's ABA therapy, behavioral therapy.
Okay.
Just for parts, again, just to introduce, and so everybody's comfortable, and I'll be a part of that as well.
Perfect. So how do you feel that, how things are going so far with sort of how your home is changing, or how things are working with your son? Are you noticing significant differences having Beau in your life now?
I'm just so blown away at what a difference this has made for our entire family.
Oh, yeah.
Just, it's made everything lighter.
Oh.
And really just more manageable. And I, like I said before, so many autism families are so limited in what they can do and what their daily lives look like, and everything being planned and structured in a way. And we are a very social family with lots of friends, and Beau has allowed us that kind of easiness that allows us to participate in our community. Because sometimes Ewan gets into a new situation and it's like he's an alien just landed on planet Mars, going, what's around the corner? What's going to happen? What light's going to go on? What noise is going to go off? And Beau has really given him that comfort in ways because of his training. And because he wants to work, and because of that connection that no therapy could give us that.
Right.
That's for sure.
So when he's at home, does he, can he sleep in Ewan's room?
Ewan's room, yeah. He sleeps right beside Ewan's bed.
Awesome.
And I think Ewan would have him in the bed, except it's only a single, so there's not much room in there to roll around in at the moment.
Now, you have some rules though that you're dealing with, because he isn't a pet. He is a working service dog. So, there's obviously some rules that you're sort of bound by in certain ways. Is that true? Or
for sure. And there's rules that that consistency is something that we follow very strongly. So Ewan is the only one that feeds Beaumont. So Beau knows who his daddy is, and where he's getting his food from, and any treats or anything like that come from Ewan. There are times where my friends will say, it's like I'm the mean one because I won't let Beau jump up or play in certain ways. He has to be kind of tight knit all the time.
Yeah.
where other people view that as, oh, just let him go. But when you start to let those things go, the training slips away.
Right.
And the reason why we have Bo is not as a family pet, although we see him as an integral part of our family.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to really help you and get through his day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to do anything to jeopardize what that's given you in.
No, of course. Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, he gets his playtime and he gets his hugs and cuddles from where he's supposed to, and yeah, but he's doing a job.
And he gets lots of cuddles.
Yeah. But he's a working dog. I mean, it's different. It's very different.
It is different. And a lot of people in the community, will go, we've gotten so many different reactions, I'm sure.
Oh.
You've heard so many different stories. And I do get a lot of the time, oh, look at those eyes, but Bo enjoys working. That's what he does from when, day, I think 3, NSD told us, with their little bib jackets on,
Yes.
this is if he's not working and he's not getting his jacket and he's not doing his thing, he's kind of like, he gets sad, just like anybody else, he's got his purpose and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
That's what he's here for.
Yeah. He was born to it. That's his thing. Yep. Absolutely. So far, as you've been, it sounds like it's going really, really well for you. Do you think that or have you been able to identify sort of, you've got a lot of pros. Has there been any cons that you've found so far?
Really, the cons are just the outside barriers that, that you don't have control over. The schools, the bureaucracy of, those things. And really our concentration is, you can get overwhelmed with those things quite easily. But it just takes perseverance and really keeping with all the advocacy also that we as a family do for Ewan in the autism community. If you keep kids at the forefront of what you're doing, if you keep the real messaging of Bo in the forefront, everything will really follow behind that. Because whether the school or ministries or boards or whoever, trustees, think they either get service dogs or they don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not really going to convince somebody that doesn't get a service dog for a person with autism. That's not really my job. My job is to really foster the relationship and continue the working relationship that Beaumont has with Ewan, so that Ewan can be in his best, living his best life in the best state, with the help of Bo.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting, and I've been sort of the last episode in preparation for that I wanted to go through with the listeners, and this is the differences between, a therapy dog, an emotional support dog, and a service dog. And the lines get very blurred, mostly between the difference between an emotional support dog and a service dog. And it has a lot to do with legislation and access, etc. And this is when it becomes very gray. And also, one of the things that I've touched on here is there's a lot of people taking advantage of the gray area. Yeah. And so, first things, what people do want to know is, do you pay for your service dog?
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
National Service Dogs never asked for a penny from us, or even, ever encouraged us to fundraise for them. And it's certainly during these times, it's COVID has hit nonprofits, very hard.
Yeah, really hard.
So they're really struggling. And again, with the need being so high, and the really impact that these dogs have on people's lives, it's very hard on organizations like National Service Dogs.
Yeah.
When we talk about that gray area as well,
yes.
It's interesting, Val, because on day number 1 on our training with Bo, we were like new little parents, like walking through the mall. There's Ewan in the background. We were in the mall, like, oh, okay, like new parents, like just like you had a baby in a stroller going down for the first walk. And there was, I think, 6 just national service dogs in a line, like we were in a parade.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there was somebody with a jacket on their pug that said emotional support dog. And it was one, I don't know, you buy on Amazon
Yep.
or whatever. And as we're walking past, the dog starts to bark.
Oh my God.
Their emotional support dog.
Yep.
He sees 9 dogs in a parade, basically going down the mall.
Oh my gosh.
And where our dogs were very calm, just ignored and carried on, like nothing had happened. For me, that was really telling, because Ewan Beaumont doesn't bark. The national service dogs they're trained not to bark. The loud noises can really hurt Ewan, like physically hurt him.
Sure.
And so I was thinking, okay, if Ewan was here, that would be a huge problem. And that's where, the actual service dogs that have had the training and that are accredited are really, put in hard positions where they don't need to be put in.
Right.
With dogs that don't have the training.
Right. And I think this is one of the biggest issues, and that's why it's really important to speak to someone like you that has a working service dog, has a very significant purpose, has gone through significant training, as have you with learning how to have a service dog, and then the journey that you go through as you create the bond. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't, emotional support dogs have very important place in people's lives as well. Very important.
For sure.
But we need to really understand the differences when we're dealing with something as significant as what you are with your dog, and what you've gone through and your journey and the training. And we need to really sort of separate this in some way. And I'm hoping that somewhere along the line, we're going to see some better, clear legislation. But I don't think that's going to come unless we advocate.
Exactly. And it has to come from that top level, right?
Yeah.
For people to make that gray area more black and white.
Yeah.
Is and I think the community at large has to have more education.
Yes.
I think everybody wants to have their dog in their purse or wherever they're in Canadian Tire or Costco or whatever. It's a nice thought.
Yeah.
But for the people it really counts for, and the reason why those dogs are there are not just because you want to hang out with your dog.
Exactly.
It really gives a bridge to families to participate in their communities in ways that they couldn't before. And I'm sure that's very true for the people that receive dogs from the PTSD program from NSD as well.
Yeah. It's making, as they say, live a better life. And, there's huge implications with service dogs and how their role. And so that's why I really wanted to have someone like you to share your story with everybody. I am going to be having the directors from National Service Dogs coming on, and they're going to be explaining some of the things what service dog organizations do and how they get there and the whole bit. So that's going to be another really good episode for everyone. So I guess for you, it's going to take, just because of the way things went, you've still got some things that you're going to have to journey through now, especially like the school thing and, life's just not normal.
And you know what? Things will always change for us.
Yeah.
Ewan's always changing. Ewan has growth. He has, his ups and downs too. And as Bo ages in different ways as well, like it's all, he has a lot of energy, and he works best when we burn that energy off, and he can concentrate just like everybody else.
Yeah.
You need your exercise so that your brain's working in the way that it should, right?
Yeah.
I will also say, Val, that it's like the best kids are just the best because they, ask the right questions, and they're so actually with Bo just so much more respectful actually than adults.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many times people come up to us, Ewan might be even tethered to Bo, and say, "Oh, I can't pet you. You're so cute, but I can't pet you." And it's almost worse than actually just petting him.
I've witnessed exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
And people just being also like very disrespectful as well. Like, and it seems to be an older group of people that even if they ask to pet Beaumont and I say no and I explain, and they'll do it anyways.
Oh.
And then it's tough, but kids never do that.
No.
Kids just learn, and that's where really like as kids have never received service dogs in the way that they have in the past. I think it's definitely more visible that kids like Ewan, he's only 9, with a service dog, people haven't really seen that before. So they do have questions, and I'd rather people talk to us than kind of wonder or whisper or come up with their own, judgments about Bo. And that should be the great part about Beaumont for Ewan as well, is that it opens them up to a community that he wouldn't have an opportunity to participate in before. Ewan is nonverbal.
Okay.
But he does communicate with an iPad. So if he does have some words. So if somebody asks him, "Oh, what's your dog's name?" Or something like that, Ewan would sometimes respond Beaumont, but it's just Ewan never had those opportunities before to maybe engage with a person in the community like another kid would.
Right. Yeah. It makes him that special kid, especially when school goes back. He's going to be that cool kid with the dog, Kids like dogs.
Kids like dogs, yes. He'll make friends left, right, and center.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to have, you'll be having, you haven't had a chance to test going to restaurants and, traveling and.
We definitely were in a few restaurants and stuff before COVID.
Okay.
Which, always were, we were nervous.
Yeah.
As parents, we were nervous.
Yeah.
And then it just happened like, oh, we don't have to worry so much now, It was just, Bo was always there. When people get a new dog, they always say, "Oh, you know how much work it is, and you know what you're going to have to do, and the walking, and the, for us, Bo coming, we never looked at it as extra work. We looked at it as something that was going to make all of our lives easier."
Right. Yeah.
That was just, it was never more work for us. Yes, there's the training and the stuff, but that stuff's just a part of what makes everything lighter for us.
Right.
And going into restaurants, even going to friends' houses that maybe we were like, before we would stay for half an hour. Okay, well, we're good. Ewan's got Bo sitting in the corner. Everybody has a bit more normalcy.
Wow. That's quite the gift, eh?
And we are big travelers. So when we can travel again, Bo will be on a plane, a train, an automobile. Like he'll be everywhere.
Yeah. He'll have all his travel stickers on his little suitcase.
He will. His little Canadian flag. Yeah. Okay, he's good. He's Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow. That's going to be amazing. Well, I just, it's disappointing that you haven't been able to really get out there yet, but that's okay. I mean, it's taken you be able to, continue bonding and,
And that's the gift that NSD gave us without us even realizing it in the beginning, of like what Bo would get us through COVID. He did. Yeah. He really was instrumental in us, getting to the other side.
Yeah.
Because we did fall off that cliff. Like all of our services ended, all our therapy ended.
Yikes.
The routine was thrown up in the air, and Bo was there in a way that we couldn't have imagined.
Yeah. Wow. He really was a very special gift for you guys. He really is.
For sure.
Oh, it's amazing. Is there anything that you would want people from all over the world to know about service dogs, service animals, and anything that you can think that would be helpful for people to know? Maybe someone looking to think that this might be something for them, or just.
I think that nobody can imagine when Ewan was diagnosed, what kind of wall that we faced, what kind of struggles we faced, so many unknowns. It was almost like for us, we were just in this really dark hole and wondering how we were ever going to get out of it and what was going to make our family like more functional. And there were so many questions. And for 3 days, I was just almost in mourning because a dog being a part of our life was never the way that I saw. Beaumont wasn't ever a picture, and the gift that Beaumont can give, and dogs like Beaumont, is really just priceless because it changes the way somebody can live their day-to-day life. And it can really shift the paradigm of participating and engaging, independence, life skills. These are all things for Ewan that are really developmentally, everything has to be taught to Ewan. And those sort of life skills we can teach through Beaumont. We're able to achieve the check marks because of Beaumont. And that's not something that I can put a dollar sign on. It's not something that's easily explained. And their relationship is not obvious to everybody, but for us it's really just opened up a world for Ewan that it's a gift that I couldn't give him.
It's absolutely unbelievable. It's amazing. Had you ever had a dog in the past, like as a pet?
I had a German Shepherd when I was young. His name was Action. So I had a big dog younger in my life. And my husband also had dogs in his life. And through we were married for 10 years before we had Beau, and he was never we had never talked about a dog, although we always wanted a dog. It was it was just fate that Beau was going to be in our lives at some point, so.
Well, I mean, the good thing about that is he's an amazing service dog, but he's still a dog and you still get dog hair.
It's true. You still got to pick up after the dog and
dog hair and dirty paws.
And dirty paws.
Oh man. True. Well, I can't tell you how much I thank you so much for taking this time, because your journey is really, really amazing. And
and I would really put that down to NSD and the kind of work that they do and the volunteers that they have. It's really exceptional organization with really strong values and really just hardworking people that really care. And we just feel so fortunate that we can be a part of their organization. And I would encourage anybody to visit nsd.org and help out in any way that they can. They're always looking for, towels or dog crates and other things as well. So I would really strongly encourage people through this difficult time, if they can, to participate in any way they can.
Yeah, and absolutely, and not to mention our other organizations that work just as diligently with Lions Club Dog Guides, CNIB, COPE. They do amazing work with service dogs as well. And
100%, they're all struggling.
I know CNIB right now is having some real difficult time with not having enough dogs. And so, it's definitely an area where I don't think people really think of how important it is that we need to support these organizations, because they are non-profit. You do not pay for these dogs.
Nope.
But it could be $30,000 into training for these dogs.
Yeah, because, we were fortunate enough as well to visit the puppy raisers that um, did all the training with
Mm-hmm.
Beaumont as well.
Mm-hmm.
They actually came all the way down from Ottawa
Oh,
to
nice.
Cambridge to meet us. And I was not prepared for that meeting as well, because I was just so emotionally overcome,
Mm-hmm.
um, in a world that sometimes, feels, definitely right now, dark and gloomy. We have to highlight the good stories, and we
Mm-hmm.
have to highlight people doing good things, and the people associated with NSD. Every single one that we've met along the way has really been exceptional, including the puppy raisers
Yep.
that had to sadly, bring this cute little puppy up and do all the hard work and say goodbye.
Yeah.
So
I had an event where we had one of the puppy raisers came in with this little one and little black lab, and he was I would say maybe 3 months old. Oh my gosh, he was the cutest little thing you've ever seen. But people at the event asked the puppy raiser, how can you give him up? He's so cute. How can you spend a year with him and give him up? Well, it turned out that we had a working dog, Harris, there, and the puppy raiser said, that's how I can give him up, because I see that. I see how that dog has completely changed that family and that boy's life.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah,
That's
so heartwarming.
pretty noble.
Yeah, it is. It's not easy for sure, but we are ever so grateful to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Steph, thank you so much. It's just been amazing listening to your story, and I really appreciate you telling everyone this. And best of luck as you continue on. I really hope we'll be looking at some changes soon. Who knows? And you guys can be able to get out there and start on the next phase of everything.
Thanks, Val. Thanks for sharing our story.
Oh, anytime. We'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Well, that was a really informative conversation with Steph Ridley about her son's wonderful service dog, Beaumont. This is the reason why I thought it was so important that everyone hear from someone who has a service dog, so you can hear about the journey to getting a service dog and the monumental change they make in someone's life. Steph was able to really explain how important the commitment is to the training and the protocols in place when you are a recipient of a highly trained service dog. Just like highly trained police dogs or working dogs at airports, etc., these service dogs love to work, and I'm absolutely sure they know how vital their skills are, and I think they take their jobs very seriously. But as Steph said, Beaumont gets lots of hugs and cuddles, and he has downtime too when he gets to be a dog. I think we can take away a lot of information from my chat with Steph, and one thing I think we can apply right away is that if you meet a service dog, there is no reason why you can't engage the handler and ask what's the dog's name or his age, but respecting the no pet rule. When people say, "Oh, look at those sad eyes," or "I can't pet you," in a way, there is an implication that the dog is being forced into service, and there is some cruelty in the rules that he can't be pet when working. Well, that is far from the truth. A service dog that I get to see occasionally is one that I mentioned in my chat with Steph. When I see him, I always say hello, and when he looks at me, I always say, "You are such a special boy." I know he hears this at home, but I believe he knows what I am saying, and he exudes the most wonderful, calm, and peaceful energy that when I'm in his presence, I can't help but feel like I just took a big calming breath. Well, thanks again to Steph for sharing some time with me, and I'm looking forward to my next chat with those that are directly working within a service dog organization. I'm sure we will learn a lot from that conversation because, as I say, knowing is caring. Thank you for listening to Val Talks Pets. Please remember to follow or subscribe to ensure that you never miss an episode. To really help the show, please stop by iTunes and rate and review each episode that you find interesting and helpful. And don't forget that you can also email me at val@valtalkspets.com with topics you would like me to address or with any questions you may have. Also, check out my website at valtalkspets.com and let me know what you think and what you would like to see. Thanks for caring!